were to reduce this, but it's saying that he choked you. And choking somebody where they're having problems breathing, that's very up close and personal. All right, we're going to go on the record. Court is calling 2023 CR 3065, State of Texas versus Christopher Dunning. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense?
Ricardo Briones for Mr. Christopher Dunning.
And are you Christopher Dunning?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
We're here for sentencing. You entered a plea of no contest and applied for deferred adjudication on May 13th. According to your plea bargain agreement, the state proceeded on the lesser included offense of assault bodily injury family as a Class A misdemeanor, and the state recommended deferred adjudication. All right, and we're here. Thank you. We're here for sentencing. Any witnesses, defense?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe Lori Dunning is in the courthouse, in the courtroom. I would like to call her as a witness.
All right, Miss Dunning, if you'll come forward. Hello.
Good afternoon,
Good
Your Honor.
afternoon. Would you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record.
It's Lori Lynn Dunning.
All right. Defense, it's your witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Lori, can you spell your first name for the court reporter?
Yes, it's Lori.
And you go by Lori Lynn. It's your middle name?
Lynn is my middle name, Lynn.
And Ms. Dunning, what is your relation to Chris Dunning?
He's my husband.
And were you the complainant in this case?
Yes,
Okay. And as you know, the court agreed to give him deferred adjudication probation.
yes,
Are you in agreement that he can have contact with you?
yes, I am.
Okay. Right now, generally, these things are given a no contact order. Are you asking the court today to modify that to a no harmful or injurious contact order?
Yes, I am.
And how long have you all been married?
We've been together since 2000, right after 9/11, it's 2001, but we've gotten married in 2004.
And as far as you know, you haven't filed for divorce. You want to continue being in a relationship with him, correct?
Correct.
And you would like him to be able to do his community supervision at y'all's residence, correct?
That's correct.
Great. I pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right. So do y'all have any children in the household?
No, we have no children.
All right. So you said y'all were married, but when did you first meet him?
It was right after 9/11, so 2001.
And so this physical abuse that happened, is that the first time?
Yes.
Right. So what caused it?
I believe our marriage was not in the best shape. Both of us, I think, had become complacent and just weren't taking care of each other ourselves. And I think he was dealing with some mental health issues. We're both nurses, so I could identify what I thought was maybe some bipolar issues that, based on my inattention maybe to the marriage, I think it threw him into some paranoia and behaviors that he's never exhibited before.
All right. I understand that you're saying that there were things that were happening in the marriage or things that you were going through.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how it escalated though to what I read in the police report.
It was just a various accumulation, I think, of I think I disconnected and withdrew a lot. That took him into a state of he felt I was leaving and like taking everything, and I think he lost control. So he was seeing his life fall apart right there.
Mhm. So, because it became very violent from what I'm reading.
Yes.
And so I understand that maybe things are happening in the marriage. And I can't force people to do counseling because for counseling, you need two people. And part of the conditions that I set is supposed to be conditions to protect all parties involved. And I know you're an adult, he's an adult, but sometimes as an adult, we have to be protected from ourselves. And what I can tell you is what I will do is he needs some treatment under his belt before I allow him to have contact with you. And when I say treatment under his belt, I mean he needs to do some violence courses. I know the agreement that you made with the um, family violence prosecutors were to reduce this, but it's saying that he choked you. And choking somebody where they're having problems breathing, that's very up close and personal. And it's not something, from what I'm reading in the police report, it's not something where you're doing something from a distance. That's sort of like up close and personal. And then you have to hold it for a while for somebody not to be able to breathe. So I'm not trying to destroy your marriage. Sometimes people have to go through their marriage and go for it as long as they want to. But I need to just make sure that he has some classes or something where he can internalize what his role in this was, right? I know you're saying that you had a role to play in this as well, but I'm only here for the fact that he choked you in anger. And so I need to make sure that he receives the counseling that he needs, because otherwise, this relationship is not going to work anyway. Because whatever issues you all had before he got to this point, those issues still exist. It's just that y'all have not been discussing them because he's in custody at the Bexar County Jail. So what I find in cases like this, individuals need to work on themselves. While I'm forcing him to work on himself, you need to work on yourself as an individual. Then once everybody, you and he both, are able to look at your relationship objectively and see if this is a relationship that truly should continue or not, you'll be in a better position to make that determination. So for now, I'm not going to allow any contact. He can come back in 3 months. By then, he should have done some classes because I'm going to order the batterers intervention prevention classes for him. And he's shaking his head over there, upset now. So that tells me he needs to be in some classes because he's not internalizing and he doesn't understand the reason why we're here is because he choked you. And the reason why this is reduced to a class A misdemeanor, I'm sure it's because maybe you didn't want to come in and testify. And the state is still trying maybe to protect you by having some form of probation for him. So that's where we are. I'm not going to allow contact. That's where we are.
May I say?
Sure.
Okay, so the incident I know was over a year ago. Chris, for his reasons, had a bond out and didn't turn himself in. So we have been living together for the last year with no incidences or fear that I fear from him. And I think that says a lot. I do agree on the counseling for both of us and him.
I mean, here's the thing. It's 3 months for him to start classes. Neither of us are teenagers here. It's not like, oh my gosh, it's 3 months. It's the end of the world. It's 3 months. As we can tell, time goes by quickly. Heck, it's almost Christmas. And that's come around very quick. We're almost about to be into 2025. And what I can tell you, what I have discovered sometimes, people are on their best behavior when they have cases pending. And you know why they're on their best behavior when they have cases pending? Because they don't want to go back to jail. And Sometimes, and we can go off the record, sometimes I've been a defense attorney and I've represented people who've been charged, both males and females, with being violent with their partner. And you know what I would always tell them? You had better be the nicest person you can be. You had better get your life in order. Here's some counseling. Would they take that advice? Sometimes they would, sometimes they wouldn't. My only job was to represent them and get them a favorable outcome. And you know what ended up happening? 9 times out of 10, maybe 2 years later, I get a phone call. They're charged with another assault case against the same person or either against someone else. And you know why that's the case? Because when you have charges that are pending, whatever the issue was that made them be violent, it hasn't gone anywhere. It's just sitting in the closet waiting for itself to come out. All right. All right. But thank you so much for coming in. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. We can go back on the record. This is what the court is going to order. The court is going to place you on 2 years deferred adjudication. There's an affirmative finding of family violence. I'm going to order the BIPP course. There's to be no contact with Lori, Lori, Dunning until further notice, and probation. Once he has completed, been in the BIP course for at least 3 months, you can always come back and the court will reconsider. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. There's to be regular random UAs. Proof of employment within 30 days.
I'm disabled.
Pardon?
I'm disabled.
All right, just a second. Proof of employment within 30 days or proof of SSI. What's your disability?
Head injury.
All right, proof of SSI within 30 days. If not, there's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. And just a second. I'm going to want field visits 1 time per month. It's to be random. And so for the first 3 months, 1 time per month. And then thereafter to be random, but no less than 1 visit every 3 months. There is to be 80 hours of community service restitution. He can either do the 80 hours of community service restitution, or I'll allow him to pay $7.25 per hour to a charity of his choice. It can either be San Antonio Food Bank, or if he wants to pay $50 to Crime Stoppers, he can pay $50 to Crime Stoppers. In just 1 moment. And we'll do a referral to Center for Healthcare Services, or if he has his own personal doctor, he can go to his personal doctor. Probation, is there anything else that's needed? All right, is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful? Sir, is there anything else you need from the court?
Well, I have to go back to jail.
No, you'll be released. You just cannot live with your wife. Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, I did.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. I have a question.
Yes.
Where do I go? I don't have any family or anywhere to go.
You can go to Haven for Hope. You can go to Lifetime Recovery.
Is
all
that
right.
across the street? Do you have directions?
Oh, their probation will let you know where it's located at.
And will they provide me with counseling?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Good luck to you. All right, Mr. Briones, you're excused. All right, are we ready, Ms. Bill? And probation, this is an application for deferred. Oh, and have you come on up? Yeah, they said that, did you swear him in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Shut, hey, they're moving stealth. They're moving
I'm not
undercover.
paying attention.
They're wearing the invisibility cloak. All right, court is calling 2024 CR 5292, State of Texas versus Benny Crezo. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Phyllis Field for defense.
And are you Mr. Creso?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery? Did you review it with your client?
I have, no.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Creso, did you review what's entitled application for deferred adjudication or community supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
No, Your Honor, we're proceeding on a lesser included class A misdemeanor.
All right, any objection?
Objections.
All right, did you review the document entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes.
Did you understand that the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of theft of property $750 to $2,500?
Yes.
All right, and did you understand they're proceeding as a Class A misdemeanor?
Yes.
And that the range of punishment for that is up to 1 year in the Bear County Jail and up to a $4,000 fine?
Yes.
If you have a plea with the state, the court doesn't have to follow your plea. Did you understand?
Yes.
If the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you enter a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial?
Yes, ma'am.
A right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case? Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 1 year in the Bear County Jail and up to a $4,000 fine?
Yes.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Yes,
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
yes, Your
Mr. Creso, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you see the plea bargain page with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of theft, $750 to $2,500. There's a $500 fine. State recommends deferred adjudication. There's to be restitution to home team pest defense, if any. That's PEST. Home team, HOMETEAM. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea? State, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No.
Outside the agreement, the state is recommending that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 2 years. There'll be a TAP evaluation, 120 hours of community service restitution, no contact with home team, pest defense, and cats 1 and 2. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offense, the lesser included offense of theft as a Class A misdemeanor. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
State, any evidence?
Contained in Exhibit 1 and attachments, Your Honor.
No objections.
All right, state, you may be excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand it and sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes,
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call in the right to remain silent?
Yes.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there'll be no live testimony? Did you understand?
yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. Court will defer finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Do you wish to proceed with sentencing?
We can, Your Honor. There's one thing that I would like to mention. He lives in Houston,
Okay.
and if we could transfer his probation, his community supervision to Houston.
All right, and is that Travis?
No,
County?
it's Harris.
Harris County. Okay, I'm sorry to the Texas people. I know I should know that. And I don't know how to play that off to make it seem like I knew that, but something else,
Well,
Oh,
they're
because Travis is in the back. All right,
both are named after our people who formed the state.
yes. All right, so who's in Houston?
Can you repeat that question for me?
Who is in Houston? Do you have family there?
Yes, my whole family stays out there. That's my farm.
All right, so what were you doing here in San Antonio?
Jeez. I was young and dumb.
Well, how old are you?
Things.
I'm sorry, court reporter can't hear you. You're gonna have to open up.
I was young and dumb, just getting into the wrong things I shouldn't have been.
How old are you?
I'm 21 now.
All right, and how old were you when this offense was committed?
I was just turned 19.
19, so you leave the safety of your family to come down here with Christian Dunbar. How do you know him?
School.
School where?
I was in Howard.
What?
I was in Howard High School.
Okay. Are you employed?
No, at this moment, I'm not employed. I was employed, but I ended up losing my job. This case.
Well, people always say I ended up losing a job because of a case. Really, you end up losing a job because of your actions. So that it's better to say it that way because then you're owning your role in the loss of your job. You understand?
Yeah.
So how far did you go in school?
I graduated high school.
What are you planning on doing with the rest of your life?
And I'm working on right now. I'm working on getting employed, so I go get me a trade,
Mhm.
so I can get my life together.
Do you have any children? Okay, yay, that's a good thing. Don't have any children until you have yourself in order. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. This is what the court is going to do. Court is going to sentence you to a $500 fine. That will be probated. 2 years deferred adjudication. There's to be restitution, if any, and no contact with hometown pest defense. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. There's to be regular random UAs. If you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be?
Negative.
Why do you say negative?
I didn't really know what to say at the moment for that.
All right, have you used drugs in the past?
I only smoke marijuana.
All right, so are you going to be positive for marijuana today? I'm sorry?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's a drug. All right. So how often are you using marijuana?
Okay.
All right. So I want him tested for levels. So when you haven't been employed, you just been sitting around the house smoking marijuana?
Not really. I've been working with my uncle. Like,
All right. Well, you're saying you're using marijuana every day.
I answered your question. You answered your question.
No, I mean, so you've been using marijuana every day?
Yes, ma'am.
So when do you find time to work with your uncle?
During the daytime.
All right, so you just using marijuana at night?
It depends on my off days. I smoke in the morning and at night. But if I,
All right, and where are you smoking? Hopefully, are you living with your parents?
I stay with my mom.
All right, I hope you're not smoking in your mom's home. All right, I'll take that as a yes. You can't be smoking marijuana at your mom's house. Does your mom allow that? I mean, she has to know. I'm sure it smells.
but she got on me a couple times to not smoke in the house. I started smoking in the house.
All right, well, you shouldn't be smoking at all. So I want him tested for levels. He needs to do a year of sober meetings. You're gonna do a year of sober meetings for 1 year. So you're doing a sober meeting a day. Because if you've been smoking marijuana every day and eating cornflakes or whatever you're doing, that's not a good thing. You've got to get your life together. You're young. This is a crime of moral turpitude, but you're young. You still can change your ways. But if all you're doing is when you're not doing part-time work with your uncle or somebody, if the only other thing is you're sitting back at home eating and just smoking marijuana, that's not a good thing. Your brain is idle. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So, yes, he's doing a year of sober meetings. So you need to do a sober meeting a day, and you need to start getting your life together. Stop using marijuana. This is Texas. Marijuana is not legal in Texas unless you have a medical prescription for it. And while you're on probation, you're not allowed to drink alcohol at all. Your attorney will tell you that those are not my rules. That's the law. You can't drink alcohol at your house. So if somebody wants to come over or have a picnic or whatever is going on or having a barbecue and they have alcohol, you're not allowed to partake. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If,
Okay.
if you do, you're looking at 1 year in the Bexar County Jail. All right?
Yes, ma'am.
And as a judge, I could order, if I would have seen you to Bexar County Jail, that whole 2 for 1, 3 for 1, I could tell them I don't want you to have 2 for 1 or 3 for 1. So you could do an entire year behind bars. Now, some inmates over there, they make alcohol. I would tell how the recipe goes. This is not from my personal experience, but this is what clients have probably told me and Miss Bill on how you make marijuana and cosmetics at the jail. But we're not going to do that. So you're going to do 1 year sober meetings. I'm going to do 80 hours of community. No, I'm going to do 120 hours of community service restitution. And if you obtain your I'm sorry, not your GED, if you obtain a certificate, you can still be a welder, you can be a plumber, you can do all of those things. If you obtain your certificate in either of those fields or from some other type of trade school, I will waive your community service hours. So it's to help you improve yourself. All right, they're asking for CATS 1 and 2. CATS 1 and 2 is a theft course. I'm gonna give you my theft course. And the reason why I'm gonna give you my theft course is because I've ordered you to do a sober meeting a day for a year. So here's my theft course. Don't steal. Don't take what doesn't belong to you. Those catalytic converters, guess what? They're expensive. You shouldn't have taken them. Don't hang around with other people who steal. People don't like people who steal. You understand? So that's my theft course for you. And I'm gonna give you my criminal trespass course while we're here, because I know your age and I know what ends up happening. If you are ever invited to someone's home or invited to a party or somewhere else and they ask you to leave, you need to leave. If one of your friends comes up to you and says, I'm going to this party, you want to come with me? You know what your next question to them should be? Are you allowed to have a +1? If they're not allowed to have a +1, that means you're not invited. And then here's just another side note. Nothing good happens at midnight. If you're not, even if you're at work, guess what? Nothing good is happening at midnight because, hey, you're at work. If you're at your house and you're wide awake at midnight, guess what? It's because you have insomnia. Nothing good happens after midnight, especially if you're out and about. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
We can go off the record. Do you know what Denzel Washington said? I think he told another actor, he always leaves a party 30 minutes before the devil arrives. So you need to leave 30 minutes before they arrive. Or I like to say before the craziness starts. All right, we're back on the record. Probation, is there anything else he needs? Well, he's gonna be, transfer to Harris County. He's gonna be in Harris County. I don't know if you're all able to do field visits there. Are you all able to do field visits there? I don't,
I'm not sure what the probation department there, allows, but I can note it.
all right, I'll order field visits 1 time per month for 3 months. All right, is there anything else you need from me to be successful? Okay, oh, and I'm sorry, proof of employment within 45 days. No employment as a home health care provider or with minors. We can do a TAP evaluation out of custody, and we'll see what the recommendation is. If the recommendation is for inpatient treatment, we'll start him with outpatient treatment. Okay. And Ms. Bill, if there's an issue with the restitution amount, we can come back and have a restitution hearing.
Thank you.
And usually what ends up happening, if I see a large restitution amount, I'll have Norma contact you all.
That'll be great. Thank you.
You're welcome. I have an idea, a little bit of what catalytic converters cost. All right, did you review the trial court certification of defendant's rights to appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargaining agreement, because I followed your plea bargaining agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Crezo, here's the thing, when you're stealing people's property, things can go left pretty quickly. People have died when they've tried to steal somebody else's property. And you know what ends up happening? If somebody tries to steal somebody's property and they get shot and they die, people say, oh, well, they shouldn't have been stealing their property. So don't do it. And that person, you are not to have any probation. I'm sorry, he's not to have any contact with Christian Theodore Dunbar. All right, good luck to you.
Thank
If you need anything, just let the court know. Anyone else who's ready? Ruben Gonzalez.
Yes, Judge.
Yes.
Judge, this case was
I'm
set,
sorry, sir, I forgot your name.
Stephen Gilmore. Judge, this case was set yesterday. I didn't know about it. It's sort of a weird history. This person is a community court participant and I'm the staff attorney for community court.
Mhm.
He had a previous attorney, I think it was Roberto Vargas,
Mhm.
who, once he got into the program, Vargas filed a voucher and got off the case.
Mhm.
And so the case got reappointed to our office. I didn't think it was going to get reappointed to us until the staffing, which is next week.
Mhm.
But they appointed it and they appointed it directly to Renee.
Mhm.
Renee Munoz had no idea that I had been working on it in community court because we didn't have a case for him to have looked at. So this person is staying at San Antonio AIDS Foundation. I received an email that was copied to the state. This is from Matt Howard in the Conviction Integrity Unit. And they just asked me to come down and ask to recall the warrant. This one client didn't know it was set. The number that I found out Renee had is ancient.
Mhm.
We have good contact with him. He's reporting to pretrial services. His officer, Matt Clear, has in CSS that he's staying with placement through the San Antonio AIDS Foundation. So he's in compliance with everything and so we're just asking to recall the warrant and give us a new setting.
We're not opposed to that, y'all.
All right. Then the court will recall the warrant. However, with regard, was he on a PR bond?
Yes,
All right, I'll recall the warrant, ask that the PR bond be reinstated. Waive fees. And all previous conditions to remain. And when would you all like this set?
so our staffing is next week, so anytime in late July, if the court would like an update at that point, we can bring them back in.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, you want to set it the week of July 29th or the week of July 22nd?
29th works, Judge.
All right, we'll set it for July 29th.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
All right,
Your excuse.
Yes,
Thank you, Judge.
you're welcome. All right. All right, court is going to call 2023. Come down, sir. CR 9657, State of Texas versus Nathan James Cruz. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state? For the defense?
Stephen Gilmore from Mr. Cruz.
And are you Mr. Cruz?
No.
All right, state has filed a motion for continuance. This is their first motion for continuance. Defense, have you had a chance to review the motion?
Actually, we discussed it back in chambers. I haven't reviewed the paper copy. I'm opposed to the state's motion for the same reasons I said on the record on Thursday. We have now a second speedy trial assertion that was filed, I believe Friday before last. He's been in custody over 300 days. The presumptive amount of time for prejudice is 8 months. He's exceeded 8 months. And I would actually consider this the state's second motion for continuance because we were set for trial on Tuesday, the 11th. And the state was not ready at that time. So in my mind, for the purposes of the record, this would be the state's second not ready.
All right,
Judge, actually, that's not true, at least for the second not ready. We were in, I believe, a murder trial on that particular week, so this case did not come up. I believe defense counsel is probably talking about a private conversation we've had together, saying that we may have not been ready on that. So this is the state's official first motion for continuance on a case of stating not ready, Your Honor. And due to the fact that the material witnesses that would be needed for this case are not available at this time and have not been subpoenaed by the state. We have tried unsuccessfully at least 3 times to subpoena these individuals with going out to the last known addresses here in Bear County and also Uvalde County. So at this time, the state's asking for the first motion for continuance.
all right. And the court will note for the record that the court was in a murder trial. And that was one of the reasons this case didn't go to at that time. Mr. Cruz, this is what the court is going to do. The court is going to grant the state's motion for continuance. However, we are coming back on Wednesday. I'm not giving them a long continuance. So we're going to come back on June 26th, which is Wednesday. We're going to have jury selection in the morning, and we're going to go straight through after jury selection into testimony. All right? All right. So I'm going to grant the state's motion, and this is reset for June 26th, which will be Wednesday.
Thank you, Judge. Can
You're
we
welcome.
excuse?
Yes.
Appreciate you.
All right. And defense. Mr. Gilmore,
Yes, Judge.
see, I don't have a copy of the acknowledgement of discovery.
We did another one.
I don't believe one.
Yeah, we did. I think I've done 2 now. I did one with Daniel, that Daniel signed on Thursday.
All right. I guess it's somewhere in the system. I don't have it anywhere in the file.
Huh. Okay.
Judge,
So-
would you like us to make another one?
Yes, if
Okay.
y'all could, just so
So
we all
number 3.
have it in the file. All right. And Deputy Laura, he's coming back on the 26th for jury trial. All right. And this isn't working. Hufflepuff. All right. Sorry.